All right, all right. All right, welcome back to the Dark Spirits, Dark Sports Podcast. This is week 7 in the NFL. Don't worry, 98 is here. He's going to be chiming in. This week, we got some predictions for y'all, and then we're going to talk about some of the key matchups this week. So, we usually like to start off with predictions for the Thursday night football game, Sunday night football game, and the Monday night football game because they're nationally televised, and usually everyone who has cable has a chance to see those. This week for Monday, there's actually 2 games, but we want to start off talking about our predictions for the one game we care about, Baltimore at Tampa Bay. Baltimore and Tampa Bay are both 4-2, so basically what you have is the king in the North, the king in the AFC North, versus Tampa Bay, who's tied for first in the NFC South. They're tied with the Falcons. 98, what you got on this game? What's your prediction for this game and why?
Ooh, I feel like I have the Ravens on this game because Derrick Henry has been performing so well over these past few games. Plus, Lamar Jackson is starting to find his rhythm, and they're starting to look like a football team that made it to the conference championship last year.
I know.
And with Tampa Bay, I feel like Tampa Bay has played mediocre and poor competition throughout this season. I feel like they haven't necessarily earned that record, but I do feel like Baltimore is going to win this game just because of the fact that their run game is so dynamic.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out here. I agree. I think that Baltimore started off slow, but they convinced me by beating the Commanders last week. And shout out to that because I thought I was going to have to start cheering for the Commanders. I did not have to. I'm going for Baltimore on this game. Even though it's at Tampa Bay, I'll always go with the better team right now. And I think that Baltimore has. They just have more weapons than Tampa Bay does. They're both tied for 4-2, so we'll find out. Let's go on to the next game we want to talk about, which is the Sunday night football game, which is going to be the New York Jets, who are 2-4, at Pittsburgh, who is 4-2. So I guess we should probably start off talking about Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, old buddies back in Green Bay, hooking up again for probably one last season. Trying to make something happen, but
Probably.
I feel like Davante is gonna be a lot better in New York than he was in the Raiders because in the Raiders, he was all they had.
Right.
So, I mean, like if he dropped back to pass, you knew it was probably going to Davante Adams, and I feel like now with that same with Justin Fields and the Steelers, he doesn't have to be Superman every play.
Yeah.
So he can just play and let the quarterback let Aaron Rodgers find who's open, and if he's open, he'll hit him.
Yeah. So who do you think is going to win?
I think that the Jets are going to win this.
At Pittsburgh? Yeah, I'm a little bit.
It's a little even for me, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's tipping slightly more towards the Jets.
It's tough. So a couple things I want to say about the Jets. First thing is they should have went for Davante last week. Right after they lost to Jacksonville, they should have got him on the phone and had him there practicing. They played another game, right? They played Monday. They got beat by Buffalo. They played a good game. I remember Rodgers was throwing to Lazard, who is his old teammate also from Green Bay, and they had good chemistry. I just think that parachuting Davante Adams into a team who is 2-4, I kind of think you're like setting him up to fail. I just think it's going to take him a while to kind of get used to the playbook. And we don't even know yet if he's even going to play this week. I don't think they've announced it, or if they have, I missed it. On this one, I am going with Pittsburgh just because Pittsburgh usually plays well at home. Now, it's funny because last year on the podcast, I made a prediction against Pittsburgh and they played poorly at home. I just think that Pittsburgh is going to have more chemistry. They have a machine that's working. They're going to play good defense. Pittsburgh is known for defense. I just think with the Jets team that they have, I think that they're kind of spiraling now. And this Davante Adams play was like a play of desperation. So 98, I respect your call for the Jets. I'm just going to go for Pittsburgh at home on that one.
Unless they decide to start Russell Wilson.
unless they decide to start Russell Wilson, Goodwin, which is still up in the air. The other game, Amazon Thursday night football game. This is Denver 3-3 at New Orleans 2-4. This is just a mid battle, so I don't even want to make any prediction on this. They can go either way. You got any comments on that one?
No. They
No.
both suck. It's
Right.
just to see who sucks more.
Yeah, we'll just find that out. So that's our first segment predictions for Monday Night Football, then Sunday Night Football, and Amazon TNF. Let's go on to the next segment.
Amazon TNF is slacking this year.
It is. They don't seem to be getting the best games. But I was telling 98 just now, it's not because they're picking those games. When they make the schedule, they think those games are going to be competitive matchups. And, for a couple years now, they turn really out not to be. Which is different because what I was telling 98 also is that for the games you see on Sunday night and Monday night football, they have the ability to change those games based upon how the season is going. So if a team is doing well, then they can take a team that was scheduled to play at like 1 or 4 and put them on the night slot for Sunday and Monday. They can't do that with Amazon Thursday night football. Also, in mind, I think that the Commanders are supposed to play the Bears coming up, and that's a game that was not scheduled for Sunday night football. I think they should put that on Sunday night football or Monday night. I forgot what day it is, but I think that'll be a good game to watch because you got two teams that are both, I guess, outperforming what was expected. Two rookie quarterbacks. I think that'll be compelling.
Number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, right. So hopefully they flex that into Sunday night or Monday night football. But yeah, next segment, we want to just talk about probably one of the biggest showdowns of the week. We want to see if we can predict which undefeated team is going to lose first, or if any are going to lose first. First one is Detroit Lions at Vikings. Detroit is 4-1. Vikings are 5-0. Vikings are undefeated. They're in the same division. So 98, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about that game and what you think is going to happen there?
I think the Vikings are going to win this one. Mainly because Sam Darnold and the offense are good, but the Vikings defense has outperformed in every aspect this year. They've been fully shutting everybody down. It doesn't matter whether it's run or pass. And with the Lions, they have a very strong offense with a reliable passing game with Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta, and a really good running game with David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
So they've got a dynamic offense, but I do feel like eventually the Vikings defense is going to wear them down.
I was thinking the same thing because I don't want to put too much, I guess, credit into how they beat Dallas because Dallas loses games now. But like you said, all the key players, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Laporta, Jahmyr, Montgomery, they got a new guy also that they're running with. I mean, they have a lot of weapons. I hope that it holds up. We're split again on this one. I am going for the Vikings in a very close game. I mean
2 points.
3. Yeah, maybe a field goal or not even that. Maybe
a walk-off field goal.
Something kind of crazy where it's like a 1 point or I don't know. Anything could happen. Could be a safety because I'm only going for the Vikings because it's a home game for them and the Vikings are more rested.
Oh, yeah, they just came off a bye week. That's true.
Yeah, and with two really good teams like that are playing at a high level and it's a division game, they're going to be fighting hard. With a game that close, I'm going to have to go to the team that's playing at home and fresher. So that's why I'm picking that one. So we're in sync on that one. Vikings. Next undefeated team we want to talk about is the Chiefs, who are playing San Francisco. Chiefs are 5-0. San Francisco is 3-3. So San Francisco played Thursday, so they had a longer week than usual. But the Chiefs are coming off a bye also using that. It is a home game for San Francisco, so what you got on this one?
I feel like the Chiefs are going to win this one, mainly because of just San Francisco seemed to let their lack to get things done. They let it seep in from the playoffs and the Super Bowl into the regular season. And I feel like their ability to just not close games has been really hurting them. And this Chiefs offense, which has performed terribly, their defense has helped them a lot. I feel like their defense is going to help carry them to another win.
So you don't think San Francisco closed out the Seahawks? They took them down. They won that game.
Yeah, they did, but what happened to those 2 losses? Those are 2 games that they should have won.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they had a lot of injuries, just like the Chiefs that they've been dealing with.
Yes,
That's
but
why
the
this game
difference
is so
between them is that
interesting.
the Chiefs are able to close games out. That's why the Chiefs are 5-0 and the 49ers are 2-2.
So better coaching. Better coaching, you're saying. Also, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs on this one also. Only because this is gonna sound like a broken record, I know, because they're coming off a bye, and like I said last week and the week before that, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes until he gives me a reason to. This is going to be a really tough game for them. Now, this is going to be super duper close also because San Francisco wants to win. I just think somehow, again, Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're going to find some magic. I think we're going to see some players that we haven't seen before. Xavier Worthy, maybe?
Maybe. He's probably going to be a huge target. So it's going to depend on San Francisco's secondary to make sure he's covered because right now he's pretty much all they got.
Pretty much. It's going to be another tough game. So based upon what we're saying, picking the Vikings and the Chiefs, that means that the 2 undefeated teams we're saying are going to remain undefeated.
If the Bills decided that they wanted Xavier Worthy and didn't fall for whatever voodoo magic the Chiefs put on them during the draft, we wouldn't have this problem right now.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that wraps that up. Final thing, in case people were wondering about the thumbnail for last week, Return of the Major, I'm going to let 98 explain that to him because he came up with the title and the graphic.
The Washington Commanders, we decided since the Washington Commanders were hot, we would make the video's thumbnail and the title centered around them because of how well they've been playing so far.
Right.
And they have a mascot named Major Tuddy.
Major Tuddy, he's a hog.
Yeah, he's a hog. And then we searched up Major Tuddy, and one of the first pictures that popped up was a fan dressed up like him. We were like, this is gold.
98 said, yes, this is the picture right here. I said, okay, I will make that happen to you. Shout out to the Commanders also. I know moral victories count for nothing in the real life world and in the NFL, but they played decent in that game.
If they had Brian Robinson, they would have won.
They played very well in that game. Of course, it counts as an L, but if they can keep that up, I mean, they were right there with Baltimore all the way through. It was a respectable moral victory. Yeah, they lost, but hey, it just shows good things coming forward. Which goes back to what I said earlier. I think they should put Commanders and Chicago on the national televised game. So if that happens, Dark Spirits, Dark Sports Podcast, it's because of us. So we get to take all the credit if NFL moves that game. And we'll say, wow, Roger Goodell actually listens to this podcast. That'd be crazy. But that's all we got for this week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time. Why don't you go ahead and close us out, 98?
Thank you for watching, spending your time with us, same as every week. Have a great morning, evening, and or night. And we will see you next week for the next podcast.
Yeah, be there. Bye.